Up until today, this nation, which has its own challenges, has not seen fit to apologize to those people for what we did to them in the Civil War. And I make no apology for holding that point of view. Where you have over 3 to 5 million people slaughtered in the space of 3 years, 1 million of them children. Where a young Jewish boy called Bruce Mayrock in New York City burns himself alive in front of the United Nations building simply because he saw what was happening to the Biafrans during the Civil War, what we did to them. Where you have a man like Steve Jobs, the man that founded Apple, or the last CEO of Apple, one of the biggest companies in the world, renouncing his Christian faith simply because of what he saw happening in Biafra. And where you have a man like Bernard Kouchner, who was the foreign minister of France up until not too long ago, a few years ago, who was actually here during the Civil War, working for the Red Cross. And he said from what he saw as a consequence of what he saw in that war, he resigned from the Red Cross, set up Médecins Sans Frontières, and he now established that organization, which is the biggest organization in wartime, for wartime casualties in the world today. People don't know this, and yet here we are as Nigerians, hoping for things to be better, and yet we refuse to acknowledge what we did. Well, that blood is everywhere now. I'm sorry if I've said things that may sound offensive, if I've said things that may not be too nice, if I've said things that are not making people comfortable here today. But that blood is being spread everywhere now, and we've learned nothing. Because here we are today, bombing the forests of the southeast with our Air Force, killing young people simply because they want to exercise their right of self-determination, or better still, they're calling for a referendum. Here we are in the southwest, allowing foreign Fulanis to flood our forests and slaughter our people morning, day, and night. The leader of Afenifere, the beloved Afenifere, who we all belong to as Yoruba people, our leader, our past leader, Baba Fasoroti, his own daughter was slaughtered. We've had our traditional rulers slaughtered. We've had our children slaughtered, our women raped, our farms taken over. That is what we have experienced, and we speak from a position of rage. If our elders and our leaders speak in a peaceful tone, it's because they're civilized men. And it's because they believe in the power of restraint, and they believe in order, and they don't want war. But the young men are angry, very, very angry. And it's not just the southwest. Look at the Niger Delta. And I acknowledged yesterday that our father, Pa Clark, was 94 years old, I believe. I acknowledge that today. I should have mentioned that in the beginning. Congratulations to him. And we thank God for his life because he's seen it all. Look at what is happening there. Look at what has been happening there over the years. Rape, pillage, murder, carnage, domination, and all sorts of evil visited upon these people. And yet they've taken it, even though they are the goose that lays the golden egg. You go to the Middle Belt, hardly any identity left. Hardly any identity left. Forced to speak a language that is not theirs. Forced to forget that they had a history of their own. Forced to bow and tremble before those that were never part of them. And now in the mix comes these foreign Fulanis again, fighting them. We in the Southwest are very proud of this man. We're very proud of him because he exhibits the courage that every son of the Southwest has hidden within. We are a people that are slow to anger, but we are irresistible in battle. And Sunday Igbo represents that tendency. He has his views, strong views, and he's entitled to those views. Not everybody shares those views. But he's a man that has captured the imagination of the Yoruba nation, and he's a man that listens to the elders at all times and acknowledges them and never goes against their counsel, which makes him extraordinary in many ways. So he said I should convey his goodwill message to you. And of course, we have other leaders in the Southwest, people like Gani Adams, who I'm sure is very happy with this gathering. But most importantly, our leaders here, and I'm very happy and honored and privileged to be able to say a few words before him and before each and every one of you. Now, let me speak for myself. And my views are very clear, are very simple, and really don't need too much enunciation because over the years I've made them very clear. But I will say this. In my view, we've got to a point in this country where we need to stop just talking and we need to start doing. What we are facing today, or rather what we are faced with, is nothing less than war knocking at our gate. Every single ethnic nationality in this country, without exception, is tooling up. When I say tooling up, that's what the British say. But here we say they are arming themselves, preparing for what may lie ahead, which nobody wants. And it is for us to try our very best to avoid going over that cliff edge. We've come here to talk about ethnic nationalities, restructuring, 2023, and so on and so forth. These are great concepts and important ideas. But the overwhelming majority of the people in this country, particularly the younger ones, in the Southwest, in the Southeast, in the Middle Belt, in parts of the core North itself, are no longer talking about these issues. They're not interested in 2023. They're decreasingly interested in restructuring. Many of them, I dare say most of them, are now talking about separation. They're talking about leaving the Federation. And they're talking about referendums and self-determination. Now that is the reality of today, which most Nigerians and most Nigerian politicians refuse to acknowledge, particularly those in our age group and older. They refuse to acknowledge it. But that is the reality. Now that does not mean to say that that is a position that we need to adopt. What it means is that we need to acknowledge it, respect it, and begin to work hard to ensure that they simply talk about it and they do not go into the mode of saying we will enforce it by the force of arms. We have been pushed to the edge. The policies of this government over the last 5 years, which has resulted in nothing but carnage, killing, mass murder, ethnic cleansing of our people, has pushed us to the edge. There's no way of sugarcoating that. People feel aggrieved, wounded, hurt. People feel as if they are slaves. People feel as if they don't matter. They're second and third class citizens. And I might add, it is not just the people of the South that feel this. It is not just the people of the Middle Belt that feel this. There are millions in the core North itself that feel this as well. Zamfara State, over 300 people killed per day up until very recently. Other parts of the North, Northeast, Northwest is on fire. The other day in Zamfara, an emir's palace was burnt to the ground simply because the people were fed up that they were being slaughtered by mainly foreign Fulani terrorists. I will not dignify them by calling them Fulani herdsmen. I will call these foreign barbarians that have come to kill our people in the core North, in the Middle Belt, in the forests and the streets of the Southwest, in the Southeast, in the South-South. I will call them Fulani, foreign Fulani terrorists. That is what they are. That is what they do. In some parts they call them bandits. In others they call them herdsmen. I call them terrorists. And they are terrorists fighting against the Nigerian state. And whatever it is you feel about Nigeria, whether you're an integrationist and you believe in Nigeria and you're entitled to that view, or whether you believe in restructuring, a great view, or whether you believe in separation or whatever it is, at the end of the day, we must remember this, that as at today, we are first and foremost Nigerians. And it is incumbent on every single one of us to stand against the foreign threat, hundreds of thousands of them, come through our borders as a consequence of the weakness of this government. They come through our borders and slaughter our people. They slaughter the people in the southeast. Just look at what is happening there.